Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am delighted we've got Jody Craddock with us. Jody, an absolute legend in the Premier League, played lots of games in the Premier League and in the Championship. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think over 500 career appearances.
Yeah, it would have been over 500, yeah. I don't know how many over 500, but it was over 500.
A crazy amount of games. Mate, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
My
How are you,
pleasure.
first of all?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good. Just
Really
in the
excited to get into the conversation. I tend to start the conversation with all of my guests right at the beginning of your career. Everyone has a different route into football, but what was your route into football? How did it all start?
um so I stayed on. I wasn't good enough at to do academy level or any of that. So I just stayed at school and did my A levels, and I was fortunate enough to get picked up and scouted. I was playing, so at the age of 17, I was just playing a bit kind of semi-pro football. I play on a Saturday afternoon semi-pro. I play Sunday morning pub football, and then I play Sunday afternoon under 18s. So just being involved in men's football at that age kind of really brought me on quickly and kind of pushed me into kind of the forefront of a few scouts,
Wow.
So that's as simple. It was as simple as that. So I was quite late into it. I did get offered an academy at Bournemouth, but I had some trials there under Tony Pulis. He was the manager at the time. I think it was his brother-in-law or something that was running the academy. But I just wanted to finish my A levels. I thought it was really important, just because I didn't think I was good enough to be a footballer. I wanted to be a footballer. I didn't think I was good enough. So I literally said, right, I'll let me do my A levels, and then I'll get in touch with you as soon as I finish them, and then we can, I can jump in on the academy, however it worked. And I literally rang up as soon as I'd finished my A levels, and they acted like they'd never even heard of me. So it was kind of, okay, no worries. I'll just go back to doing what I do every single day, and I'll just play with my local teams. And I just fortunately enough, somebody was watching, and there's a few scouts there. So I assume the word just gets around. Young lad playing men's football, doing okay. Word gets around. So
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to then be offered a trial at Cambridge United.
Was that normal that like scouts would come to some of your games? Because to me, like, I don't know how, especially at that age. I mean, you've got some of the youngsters now. Let's be honest, they're bursting on the scene. They're like 15, 16, 17, which is crazy in itself. But yeah. Well, did you have a lot of scouts that come and watched?
Oh, there was a handful, as far as I'm aware. It was in the local newspaper, so you don't really know much about it. You just know when you read it in the paper, or somebody rings you up. I assume slightly different. I was only a young boy, but I was a centre half, so you know
Yeah.
you got to kind of understand. I always speak to this to my lads about this, and like you see these really young players come through in the Premiership, which is fantastic. I love to see them come through, but it's this usually more attacking players. It's more flair players. It's like, well, just go and do your thing, and just go and attack, and don't worry too much about your defensive duties, but just get out there and just do your thing and attack and enjoy it, and make things happen. Centre half, you can't say it to a centre half. You've got to understand your position. You've got to be in the right place at the right time. You've got to win your headers. There's no kind of, you make a mistake, you let in a goal, basically. So you make a mistake as an attacking forward, it's okay. It gets kind of swallowed up by, whatever players behind you, filling in and covering your arse, basically. But you make a mistake as a defender, it's a goal, and it's So that's why I think you just see less players, like young players, just being introduced that quickly. Yeah, I'm not saying there aren't, but there's
It's
less,
tough.
because it's
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah.
I'm sure. So your first move is Cambridge, right?
Yeah, that's it. Cambridge United.
I guess some of the strikers, were they licking their lips? A young centre half. It's physical in the lower leagues, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, how did you get on your time there?
I loved it. Loved Cambridge United. Got some great friends there. Absolutely brilliant. I just loved being a footballer. I was on absolute pennies. I was on no money whatsoever, and I just loved being a footballer, and that was what it was about. Yeah, and I waited for my opportunity. They stuck me. I went out on loan to Woking to start with, and then I think I don't know if there was an injury or I came back after a couple of months, and yeah, I was on the bench, and I just got a phone call one Friday evening saying, "Look, you know, so and so's injured. We need you to play tomorrow." And it was against Stockport. They had Kevin Francis, 6'7", 6'8", and Priest, his sidekick. So, and he was 6'4", 6'5", I think. So I'm thinking, oh, this is, yeah, this is a bit scary and a bit daunting, but yeah, I could header the ball. That's one thing I could do, is header the ball and tackle people and run quick. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
How
okay.
did you
My
get
debut went
on?
good. We drew the game and it was all right.
Nice. So you got on all right. You drew. That's okay.
Yeah.
And then you move on. Like so, you get a pretty big move, right? Going to a massive club in Sunderland. How did that work? How did that? Was there other clubs that were involved? How did that transfer
Um,
work?
I think I've been at Cambridge 4 years. I gradually over that, at the end of that first year, I just managed to get a one game towards the end of the season. Maybe I come on as a sub, and then I kind of started to establish myself in the second, third, fourth year. I think I was captain in the fourth year. Um, yeah. So again, another young lad just getting. You get seen, don't you? Get seen and scouted, and they said, "Look, come up for another trial." I went up and had a week or two trial, and then I went back to Cambridge. This was during the pre-season. I went back to Cambridge then. I think about a week later, they were like, "Yeah, we'll sign you." So then simple as that, just packed my stuff up and watched one of the midweek pre-season friendlies. And half time, I jumped in my car and went up to Sunderland, and yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
How was it at Sunderland? I mean, it was obviously including yourself. There was some pretty big players at Sunderland in that period. How do you look at your time at Sunderland?
Great, fantastic. People were absolutely golden. The moment I've moved up there, I thought, wow, these people are just not just the team and the players, but like everybody in and around the club, in and around Sunderland. They just made me feel so welcome. I signed the day the Stadium of Light opened. I stayed there for 6 years and absolutely, had a fantastic time and some great people up there. So, the weather was awful all of the time, but the people were fantastic and more than made up for it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it up there. Like big names, but you just, as a footballer, you just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of always took things in my stride and just worked really, really, really hard to make sure that privileged position I've been put in, I could, you know, keep a grasp of and make sure I'd made something of it.
Yeah, very passionate fan of Sunderland, right? The atmosphere there always looks amazing. That's crazy that you were there at the opening of the Stadium of Light. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. They opened. Well, me and Kev Phillips both signed on the same day. So yeah.
Wow,
So
what a player! What was it like in training, playing with playing? I guess you're playing against Kevin Phillips. Was Noel Quinn there at the same
yeah,
time?
Winnie, yeah, yeah.
What was that like? They're
Out of
pretty
the
decent
quality.
strikers.
Yeah, they were quality. They just made, my train, I used to train like I played. So there was no, it was all or nothing. There was no take your foot off the gas. It was all or nothing. So I had to, and playing against these players, I'd had to quickly, adjust from Cambridge United, I had to quickly adjust to Sunderland. And, always felt I could adjust to whatever situation I was put into and, improve and get better. And I was only a young boy. So, yeah, that was, an easy thing to do being a young lad. I was physically fit and strong, so I had all those attributes were absolutely fine. So yeah, it was a matter of then like turning me into a more of you know a better footballer. So which yeah, they did a good job, and I loved it there.
Did it, playing? I'm sure training against Noel Quinn day in day out. He was a big guy. Helped you in when it comes to playing in the Premier League, because Premier League's, is it more physical to what you experienced before, or is it technically better? What's your thoughts on that?
Technically, so I always said this championship. The championship is more because I joined Sunderland when they're in when they're in the championship. So
Yeah,
championship more physical, and you're playing more games, and it's more physical. But that transition from championship to premiership, premiership's more technical and like a lot quicker. I remember the first ever game I played in the premiership. I just remember thinking, wow, this is so fast compared to the championship, but the championship was physically tougher. So
yeah.
yeah, there's balanced, but the speed the Premiership's played at was a note. You wouldn't think there would be such a bigger difference, but no, there is a big difference, and well, one that I noticed at that
at
young
that
age.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see like what players that are playing sort of now think that maybe have dropped down, but I feel like the championship is the quality's really improved. Obviously, there's a lot
yeah,
more money
definitely.
involved in the game now.
Yeah,
But because you've seen some of the teams that have come up to the Premier League, obviously Sunderland invested heavily, but your Leeds have done quite well. Um, so obviously Burnley have struggled, but it seems like they're getting closer, right? That
yeah,
that gap is a bit
definitely.
closer.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and you need to be, if you're getting up into that Premiership, you've got to be seriously wise in who you bring into your team. And I watched Sunderland in the last game of the season. They played QPR before they went to the playoffs, and I went up and watched them. And that's the first time I'd been back as like a fan and watched them. And I thought, wow, these are going to struggle in the Premiership next year. It just didn't look strong enough. Yeah, a few, off season, a few great signings, and wow, look what they've done this. Season has been absolutely phenomenal. So they should be seriously pleased in what they've managed to achieve. And yeah, they've had a great season, which is
Oh,
which is good to see.
it's a brilliant achievement, right? And I remember when they signed a lot of these players. I'll be honest, I looked at it and I think to try and gel all these players together. You've been in the change room. I'm not sure what it's like, but that must be tough, right? There was a load of players that joined this year. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Have
So
you
yeah,
been in
definitely.
change rooms like that?
Yeah, you've got to. It's all right having the players, but yes, you've got to make them work together. Yeah, knit them together and make them work together. And yeah, they've done a. He's done a great job up there. So yeah, credits where credit's due, because
Yeah.
it is no easy feat coming to the Premiership and then staying in the Premiership and then going on to second and third year. So next year will be excuse me, equally as tough for them. But yeah, what a great first season! They should be seriously proud of what they managed to achieve.
You know too well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it in your last year at Sunderland? Did you get relegated?
Yes,
And
yeah,
then
and then I
and
got.
then you move come where you moved to Wolves. Was there other clubs interested in you, or was it just Wolves? Was Mick
Possibly, I
McCarthy?
can't. Yeah, I can't really remember. But I kind of knew Wolves was the leader of the pack, so yeah, it just came down to them. If they got through the playoffs, and yeah, then there's a very strong possibility I was going to be signing for Wolves. So they got through the playoffs, and yeah, it was as simple as that. I was, you know, players move on when teams get relegated, and I wanted to stay in the Premiership, and that's an offer came in, so you take it. I would have been silly not to take it. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Sunderland, and I could have easily stayed there my whole career. That's how I felt about the club, but football is what it is, and you have to move on at times.
It's a short career, isn't it? So you've got to take those opportunities. If there's someone that's offering you Premier League football, that must be hard to turn down, right?
Yeah,
But
definitely, most
was
most
it
definitely. That's where you want to play. As a kid, that's where you want to play in the Premiership. So
when you look back on your career? So you started at Cambridge. What league were they in when you first signed?
I think they were the second division.
Second division, was it?
Yeah.
So then, like, being someone that plays regularly in the Premier League, I had noted down actually that there was one season I was surprised in a good way, Jody, that I think it's 09-10 season. You got 5 Premier League goals as well.
Yeah, I think I'd been out on loan before that as well. I think they put me out on loan to Stoke. This was like after
Yes.
5 years. I'd gone out on loan to Stoke, so they were trying to kind of edge me out the door. And I come back, and yeah, I was captain and scored 5 goals, and yeah, that's really it's strange how football works, and
Yeah. And Wolves, I know, but you obviously had a great career there, captain of the side. What you got to say about your time at Wolves?
oh, I loved Wolves. 10 years. I've always been loyal, so I was more than happy to stay there 10 years. Got some great friends, yeah, and I'm getting great with the fans as well. Yeah, there's nothing more to say really. I just really enjoyed it, and again, again like Sunderland, and again like Cambridge, they really took me under their wing and made me part of the family. So it was an honour to play there, and for such a long time as well.
Who was the who's the managers that you had?
So
Was it just Nick?
Dave Jones
Yeah,
took me there. He brought me in. Then when he went, Glenn Hoddle came in. After Glenn Hoddle, it was, I think Stuart Gray took over for a little bit, but then it was Nick McCarthy came in.
Mick McCarthy. I didn't realise Glenn Hoddle was there.
Yeah, for a couple of seasons.
What was that like?
I got absolutely fine with him, you know, but it was a really odd season because we drew so many games. It was like ridiculous. If you check the
Yeah,
stats, the amount of games we drew was crazy. So we weren't losing anything, but we weren't winning because we were just drawing. We drew so many. So from a defensive point of view, it was quite, it was like, okay, well, that's, I'm doing my job here. We're getting
yeah,
clean sheets. We're drawing great. It's okay. We're not losing football. But from a manager's point of view and winning and wanting to get into the playoffs, we didn't. We fell short, and it was because. But so it was a really strange season that
yeah.
we didn't play bad, and we weren't losing, but we just weren't winning. We just weren't
Not getting the
scoring.
3 points.
Yeah, exactly, which is the most important thing. So yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, but I got absolutely fine with him, and but yeah, I think it was a couple of season or two that was amount of time he was there.
Wow. Did he ever get involved in training at all?
Yeah, he liked to get involved in training, and he'd always
What was he
try and I
like?
always remember he'd try and be putting one in the top corner from outside the box. Like that was his thing, trying to do it all the time. And he did it one day, and it just went like deathly quiet, and everyone was like, "Mm."
Silent. He's still got it.
So he still had. You could still see sparks of genius there. So, but yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember. I spoke to another pro who I think they had Zola as their manager at one point, and they were like, it was just silly. He was sort of like mid-40s, but he was still like a magician. I'm sure Glenn Hoddle was a bit like that as well. I mean, I'm a Spurs fan, so like listening to Glenn Hoddle play football, my dad always told me about the stories about Glenn Hoddle and how good he was. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And
yeah. Imagine.
when you come to the end of your football career, it's a bit of a crossroads, right? Professionals take completely different routes. And I think it's fair to say that the route that you took is one that not many footballers have taken. For those that don't know, well, what did you get into after football?
I'm an artist, basically. So the thought process was, do I go with my head or do I go with my heart? And if I'd have gone with my head, I'd have gone into coach. Not that I had anything lined up, so it's not like stuff was on the table where they get, I had to choose. But if I'd have gone with my head and been a coach, then I still wouldn't have seen the kids at Christmas. Kids were at the age where they were only young, so I wouldn't have seen them at Christmas.
Yeah,
Notoriously, you train every Christmas day for 20 years in my whole career. School holidays never cross over at the same time. So when they break up, you're back training. When you're off, they're at school, aren't they? So I had to make the decision. Yes, the money's in football, and no, the money's not really in art unless you become a fantastic artist. And but my heart was always was in art, and I thought, well, I'll be able to have Christmas with the kids. We'll be able to go, have our holidays, and yeah, so that's the route I chose. I love art, I love painting, and yeah, I've been doing it now since I retired. So yeah.
fascinating. I love it. I really love it. For the benefit of anyone that's listening or watching, can you just share us your website so people can check it out? I'll also put it in the description as well. But just at this point, if you can just
Yeah,
share
so
it.
website's just Jody Craddock Art. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and all that, so it just comes up as Jody Craddock. If you type it in, you'll find it. You won't miss it.
And there's something for everyone. There's some sporting bits. There's some bits that aren't sporting related. I have seen on your socials, and football fans will probably love this. The memorial you done for Wolves for Diogo Jota, amazing. What was that like doing that? What an honour!
Oh, brilliant! It was an honour to do it, an honour to be involved in the project. Yeah, they asked me before Christmas and said, "Look, we want this painting to go in to go up in the main entrance of the Stanley stand." Yeah, and this is the size we want it, and I'm like, "Well, that's quite big. Like,
It's
that's the thing
massive.
I got to get. Yes, I can. I can paint anything, but yes, I've got to get the canvas in the house. So I was literally stood up in my kitchen whilst the Winter Olympics was on, painting this ginormous picture, but they wanted two. So yeah. But it was great. It was great to be involved, and I'm about to do an exhibition at the Molyneux at the end of May. So to show all the other bits, I did lots of other stuff. I think I literally could grab one. I could grab one whilst I'm
Yeah,
talking.
do it. Do it.
So I've literally painted a lot of other stuff to.
Wow.
So these bits were painted in preparation for me to show them and go, look, these are my ideas I've got. Yeah, choose what you want, and we'll whack it up on a big, massive canvas. That was just one of the ideas, and so I'll be showing all that extra stuff in an exhibition at the
So
Molyneux.
you've got an exhibition coming up at Molyneux. You
Yeah,
say end of May, do you say?
May the 22nd, Friday night. So yeah, I think they haven't released it yet, but yeah, it'll be May the 22nd.
Wicked.
And I'll
And
be releasing all these pictures will be released, and they'll be for sale. And they're all done with the same paints, the floral paints, which they gave me to do the big picture. So
wow, yeah, I did see that. And is that something that people have to get tickets for? Or is
yeah,
it
they'll just get a ticket or do like a question. Yeah, I assume do it from the website. There'll just be like a question and answer. Then yeah, talking about my art, and yeah, all my stuff will be up as well. So
oh, wicked, Jody. I wish you all the best for that.
thank you.
That sounds amazing. I love the fact that, because I've spoke to many people that have got into coaching or maybe punditry. As I say, you're the only person that's really followed the passion and gone and done done art. So yeah, it's wicked. So guys, please check out Jody's stuff. And you do commissions as well, right?
Yeah, I'm doing commissions. I've got some stuff around working on at the minute. So
Go on.
these are trading cards.
Wow.
The people are I just did one, I don't know, months ago, just to see if I could do it really, because they're really quite difficult to do. So people like them. These obviously some of the
Wow.
ones. But
Ballard, yeah.
so yeah, I'm just doing them at the moment. So I've got a big list of them to do. So
I'll keep
so,
you busy.
yeah, it's keeping me busy at the minute. Yeah.
Wicked, mate, wicked. We'll move on to we're going to move on to the next section, which is called Inside the Dressing Room. Jody, who was the best player that you played with and why?
Best player. So people ask me this question. It's not a player; it's two players, and it's Kev Phillips and Niall Quinn. And them as a partnership would just quality. I couldn't say Kev Phillips without saying Niall Quinn. I couldn't say
Yeah,
Noel without saying without saying Kev, because they complemented each other so well. For Quinn, he'd be like, "Look, stick the ball on my head, Kev. Make sure you run inside," and Kev put it in the back of the net. So Kev just fed off Quinny, and them two are brilliant. And everyone thinks, oh yeah, well Quinny was just tall and that was it, could head the ball. But no, his feet were phenomenal. Some of the goals he would score were fantastic, and so the pair of them together were a pleasure
fair.
a pleasure to play. Behind. I used to be when I was at Sunderland. I used to be, I think for 2 seasons we were 7th in the Premiership, and I used to sit at the back thinking, wow, this is easy. And I'd have like Kevin Ball and Alex Ray in front of me. They'd just be winning things. And the ball would just come out. I think, right, I just got to win my headers, win my tackles. There you go. I'll roll the ball to the nearest midfielder that's there. And I'd be standing at the back going, this is brilliant. This is so easy. So, yeah. But those two up front were absolutely phenomenal.
What a
Kev got the
partnership.
boot. So yeah, it's a pair as opposed to a single player.
That's absolutely fair. What a partnership they were. Kevin Phillips got to be one of the best finishers in Premier League history, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Very good choice. Very good choice. Who was your most underrated player that you played with?
That was a difficult question. I think maybe Daz Williams. I was at Sunderland with him, and he was a centre half partner with me. We were roomies. Great lad, great footballer. Um, the, he could play in numerous positions. So you could put him on the right wing. You could put him. I played centre half with him. You could put him right back, left back. Centre midfield. So I often think when a player can play in so many positions, it goes a bit unnoticed. You just
Yeah,
they become underrated because they're just playing different positions. But to do that is extremely difficult at such a high level. I think bloody hell, I couldn't have gone right back, right wing, centre mid, but Daz did, and he could, and yes, he was mainly a centre half with me, but if they needed to put him in a different position, he would play there, and I think fair play to be able to do that at a high level is a real, you know. I know it's a
Yeah.
utility player, but it's a real difficult thing to do. So, credit to Daz. I haven't really seen anybody else that could do that in so many different positions and comfortably pull it off as well.
Yeah, the only one that comes to my mind is Milner in the recent years has been able to do fullbacks, wide midfield, central midfield,
Yeah, yeah.
but absolute athlete as well. So you need
Yeah,
to
well,
have the legs
exactly
to
that.
do
Well,
it.
that's part of it. If you've got to be an athlete as well, and Daz was. He was fit as a fiddle. So, yeah.
Yeah, nice choice. Who was the manager you connected with the most?
Mick McCarthy, I've always said it. Yeah, he was a centre half, and yeah, he got the best out of me, and I got on really well with him. So yeah, he took us. We got promotion in the championship. We were in the Premiership with him, and yeah, I just connected with him, and yeah, enjoyed. I'm not knocking any of the other managers. I was
No.
had the privilege to play under, but yeah, he was the one that kind of stood out the most to me.
Who was Mick's number two as well?
Terry Connor. TC. So
Terry.
so TC was quality. TC been there when I first joined, so he'd been there with every other manager that came in. He was still in the club in some
Oh, I didn't know.
capacity. So they all seen how well the lads got on with him, and what he could offer the club. So yeah, that's why he was kept there for my whole time I was there. He was there. So and he was great. So absolutely great.
Yeah, he was ever present. They were definitely like a duo. Some managers, especially in the modern game, change their assistants, but it just seemed like you always saw they were like together as a duo.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, who was the toughest striker that you faced?
See, they say the best striker and the toughest striker. The best striker was Thierry Henry, without a shadow of doubt. He was just absolute quality. But there's a lad called Rory Fallon who used to play for Plymouth, who I'd say was the toughest striker. He was just it was one of them where I'd turn up down in Plymouth and it'd be like absolutely melting down there, about 35 degrees. I'm thinking, oh, this lad just wants to kind of elbow me and smash me all day long, and he's a centre forward. So he was definitely one of the tougher ones to play against. And but one of the best ones was obviously Thierry Henry, who was super intelligent, quick, fantastic, could score. So yeah, he also made it very tough as well.
There was some. I felt like you played in an era of Premier League. I'm not disputing that there are good strikers in the Premier League now, but that era that you played in were arguably some of the best strikers we've ever had in the Premier League, right?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, there were some great ones, weren't there? So Van Nistelrooy, there's Van Persie. There was, but this
Was
was a time when Giggs was
Rooney,
playing, and yeah, Rooney. There we go. Yeah, so there was a few of them.
Robbie Keane, Jermaine
Yeah,
Defoe,
yeah.
Crouchy? Did you
You
ever
could,
go up against Crouchy?
yes, yeah, a few times. Yeah, yeah.
What
There
was
you
what
go.
was he
So
like? Because he's completely different. He's a completely like different challenge, isn't he? What was it like? 'Cause you say you're the defender that can like win headers and stuff, but you're going up
yeah.
against Peter Crouch. That must be a tough one
Yeah, well,
to
it
play
is because
against.
they have to then really elevate your game. Like yes, he was good in the air. So when they're saying right, if you're playing against Stoke and the lap's slinging that ball in the box and in it and Crouch is on the end of it, you're like, well, I really need to be on my game to get up. Because he wasn't just a tall lad; he was a lad that could jump and header the ball. So sometimes you get tall lads that ain't
Yeah,
that great in the air, but he was. So yeah, you had to kind of be at the top of your game to deal with him. So yeah, he was good, and he was a bit like a Quinny, I suppose. He was good on the floor. He wouldn't just score headers; he'd score bloody overhead kicks and
yeah.
volleys and all sorts. So he was,
His
a quality
technique
player.
was top. You had
Yeah,
a tough time, Jody. You had a
yeah.
really tough time.
Oh, it was a privilege. You know what? It was a privilege. If you interview one of them, they wouldn't be reeling my name off, but it was a privilege to be reeling their name off. So.
You never know. You never know. We'll go on to the next section, which is one pick. So some quick fire. What was the best stadium you played in?
Anfield. I was a Liverpool supporter as a kid, so it was to play there was like a bit of a wow. This was a bit, I used to watch them on the telly. So wow, I'm now stood in the middle of Anfield playing football. So
What a moment.
I have to say that one.
The fans you connected with the most?
there's no way I can say either Sunderland or Wolves. I just can't say it. So I will sit firmly on the fence and I will
That's
say
okay.
those are the fans. I had my testimonial
Yeah,
over
sure.
10 years ago now, and the amount of fans that, I had it at the Wolves, so there was plenty of Wolves fans there. But, there was thousands of Sunderland fans that travelled down, all that distance. I was thinking, wow, had a great day. So I'll never forget that and always be thankful for them coming down and being part of my testimonial.
Amazing. Who's the most skillful player you played with?
Um, Actually, a lad in training, Adam Hamill, I think his name was, and he was always just with these lads that could do the tricks, and that was really hard to mark in training. And I know it's different when you go into a game; it's hard to do all these tricks in a game; it just doesn't work. But in training, I used to think, yeah, come on, that lad's got something about him. He's pretty
Was he at
skillful. So
Wolves?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not long. He didn't play an awful lot, but when he did play, he was technically very good winger.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. I remember the name. Who was your childhood hero?
childhood hero. So when I was younger, I used to like it was two players we used to kind of look up to. One was Tony Adams, naturally centre half. I used to think, yeah, him, and the other one was Vinnie Jones. I used to love his tenacity and just everything about him. That I just thought, I don't know about an underdog, but he wasn't like a player that stood out head and shoulders skillfully above everybody. But
No.
in terms of passion and determination, I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I'm about: passion and determination. And he's got an abundance of it. So I was thinking, so yeah, that's kind of who I looked up to kind of not so much the craziness, but
Not
that
the-
dogged determination to kind of never give in and just keep going and give it everything you got.
Yeah, that was a tough team, the old Wimbledon team.
Yeah.
He would have been retired by the time
Oh, I
you.
played against him once,
Oh,
and
did you?
yeah, I just kind of think who it was for. So where was he at? Wimbledon, Leeds, was that it? So I played against him once. But obviously didn't come up
Wow.
against him because I was
Different
centre
ends
half.
of the
So
pitch. Yeah.
it was early on in the Wolves career, and I think it was my Wolves career. But yeah,
Wow.
I don't know who it was that he played on. I think it might have been Leeds.
Yeah, it was some great videos of Vinnie Jones. Um,
Yeah,
what was the one stadium you hated playing in?
I didn't none. Sorry to disappoint you. I didn't hate playing any of them
None
because
you just,
I
yeah.
just used to think I just loved playing football. So to play in any stadium that was better than you know, a field on a Sunday morning when I was 17 years old, I was thinking it was just a privilege. Yes, I played in stadiums which we used to before Brighton had done up all their ground. You'd get changed in a small cabin and walk across onto the pitch, and so that was. I'm not saying I hated it in one bit whatsoever, but that was a different kind of scenario. Um, so yeah, I didn't hate them. I loved them all. They're all great. It's all part of the journey, which was a privilege to be involved in. So every ground, whether it be absolutely massive like an Anfield, Stadium of Light, to a small wet boggy pitch on a Tuesday evening. Playing for Cambridge, I used to love them because the crowd was so close to the pitch. So the
Yeah.
atmosphere, whether it was 4,000 or 40,000, they weren't far off. Atmosphere of 4,000 when they're right in, closed in on the pitch was fantastic, and it was it was great. So it was just some great memories. So
Completely
I loved
fair.
them all. Sorry to be boring, but I loved them all.
No, it's all good. So we've spoke about like some of the best strikers, the toughest strikers you came up against, but was there like, even if it wasn't competing directly with them, but was there a best player that you played against?
I don't know about best player. I've definitely played against some great players. Obviously,
So
I played
many.
against when I was 18 or 19 at Cambridge. I played against, and we had a pre-season friendly against Man United. So it was Eric Cantona up front. So I just took his name out there. So I'll say him, Eric. He wasn't bothered at all playing against Cambridge United, but for me to play against him was like, wow. Giggsy was there, Brian McClare. Hughes up front, yeah, and it was all that team that
Wow.
So that was
Did you,
fantastic.
was it one of those after Jody where you like, oh, can we swap the shirt?
Do you know what? I never swapped my shirts. I kind of kick myself now. Wish I'd swapped a few.
Never.
Always kept them. Always kept them. Just thinking. I must have swapped about 3 or 4. But used to keep them thinking, I'll keep these. I'll give these to my kids. So I ended up just keeping my shirts.
And you've
But
got
yeah.
them all still, right?
Yeah, I got them all in boxes. So
Nice, nice. We're going to move on to the last section. So the last section is football blackjack. So this is a game that we've been doing offline for a few years, and this year we've built an app for it. So we're going to do football blackjack with yourself, Jody, and we're going to do it on the Premier League, but we're going to do it retrospectively on last year. So the rules of the game is you need to pick 4 players, and collectively you're looking to get 21 goals with all 4 of those players. Everyone needs to score at least 1 goal for you to be active. So everyone needs to score. If you go over 21, like blackjack, you're bust. You're out.
yeah. Okay.
So what we'll do is give me a name. I'm on the app that we've got a stat section where I can basically search the name. So I'll search the name and I will tell you what the number is, and we can go from there, and then you can build up and see how you get on. So last season, Premier League. Let's see how you get on.
Let's go with Van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
He's always good for 5, isn't he?
Let's have a look. Oh, so last year he got 3 goals. So you're on 3.
What's that all? I expect more than that from him.
Yeah.
Let's go with. I will go with a centre half. Let's go with Max Kilman.
Kilman.
Must have scored. I'm going for centre half, and I'm thinking they should be scoring about 5 goals, shouldn't they?
Let me just check, because he's not come up, which makes me think, has he scored? But let me just double check my data. Last season, Max Kilman.
He must have scored 1.
No goals.
Oh, what's he doing? How could a centre half have no goals?
No goals. I'll let you continue with 2 more picks to see where you get to.
What about De Bruyne? When did De Bruyne leave City? Did he leave at the end of the season?
Who's at De Bruyne?
Yeah.
Ooh. I
Be
think
good for 7 or 8.
I think it was De Bruyne 4.
Oh, I wasn't
7.
many either, was it?
Last pick.
How many do I need here?
So you're on 7 as your maths jack. 14.
Palmer, Chelsea.
I think I know the answer to this. 15. Just over. Unlucky. Well played, Jody. Oh. So we've got we're building the app, and we're still tinkering with a few bits. It'll be ready for next season. We've got a World Cup game that's coming out as well, but next season we'll have Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2 and the Scottish League, where anyone can join in and they can play the game free of charge. Yeah, we've been doing it with a few of us, and just thought let's create an app so more people can enjoy it. So
brilliant, excellent.
Jody, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for your time.
No worries at all.
I'll input all of the information to your website in the description. So guys, please go and check it out. And yeah, Jody, we'll speak soon. Thank you.
Brilliant. Take care. Bye-bye.